Good morning, my friends. My apologies for doing a little disappearing act. It's been quite the couple of weeks, I guess. And this is just the beginning of trying to get back into my rhythm. I'm still not 100%, but I haven't actually been that bad. Little secret, I haven't been that bad. It's just the whole combination of events has conspired to make me not able to do videos. And straight away, I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. Because I am a little bit froggy still. So I wanted to show you my new kits that I released at the beginning of May. 2 kits. I'm super excited with these. They're both called Colour Essentials, and there's Colour Essentials Mottled, which is this one, and then Colour Essentials Plaid, which I will show you in a moment when we've had a look at this. Now, it is a bit curly because I set it to print on my printer and left it sitting on my printer while I was away. And you know how the trays kind of just, they just curled. And I've had them sitting under a book this morning, but they are still curly. So anyway, you can still see them. So this is the Mottled collection. There are a total of 40 pages in this one. I love the colours. They are designed to be used anywhere, like mix and match, although really cool in a journal as well. And I really think that my printer has some damaged print heads because it's leaving lines on everything. I've cleaned it, I've checked it, I've done everything, but it still leaves lines at one end of the page. So I think I've actually got damaged print heads. So I'm just doing a quick flip through because it is the same pattern, just different colours. So an array of just, literally every colour that you would want. There's some paler ones, some more pastel ones, there's vibrant ones, there's muted ones. Just lots and lots of colours to do whatever you want with. Making ephemera, using them as pages in a journal, whatever you want to do with papercraft. There's lots of ways you could use them, and that's what I wanted for these kits. I wanted multi-purpose. So that's a very subdued one, and then we've got the brown. So that one I think was blush. I can't remember all the names. So I do know this is, I think, chocolate, and this is cocoa dust, I think. They've kind of got food related names in this set. Beautiful vibrancy. So I might have to invest in a new printer at some point, but it won't be in the near future. I'm just going to have to live with lines on things. Most times they're quite subtle. You can miss them if you're not aware they're there. So I will live with it for now. So that's the mottled plain pages in terms of it's a full page pattern. And then we have the writing pages in the same colours. So they're set up with 2 panels, so perfect for a journal page. Flip them over, and journal page, writing space, but still got some interest going on. Or you could use it as fun stationery, trim it down the middle, and you've got 2 sheets of writing paper, or anything else. And then just, all the different colours in there, same as in the plain or the full page patterns. I just want to see if I can find the matching one to show you. I should have pulled it out in preparation, but where are you hiding? It's hard to flip pages because I've got a band-aid on my thumb, so it's quite hard to kind of feel what I'm doing. Don't say I'm missing one, that would be weird. I possibly am. Let's go with something. Pretty sure I saw this one. I've had trouble with my printer too because I was printing from my laptop wirelessly, and I don't know, my printer was printing half the pages over and over and over again and not printing the rest of the pages. It's driving me bonkers. Some pages I ended up with 3 copies of, and other pages I had 0 copies of. So I've spent all morning kind of trying to work out what I've got printed off and what didn't print off, and I think I've still missed a page. But so there you go, there's the full page pattern. I'll turn them this way, might be easier, and the writing page, just to see they do absolutely the same colour, just 2 different variations. So that's the Mottled kit. And now let's move on to the Plaid kit. Plaid, however you like to pronounce it. I say Plaid. These are not exactly the same colours as the Mottled kit, and that is deliberate because it gives you an even more extensive range of colour possibilities. But you will still get some good coordination between the 2 kits. So we've got purple and purple magenta. Oops, I'm just trying to check whether I'm turning over 1 or 2 pages. And we've got orange. This is a lighter orange. Then we've got the darker orange. Here the lines are very visible on that, which is quite disappointing, but there you go. Oh, and my printer was also printing like part of a page and then nothing. I was like, don't know what it's doing. So then we've got a brighter blue and a darker blue. This one's the pink, and then there's a blush version which is just slightly more peachy in tone. And then we've got what's called scarlet. It's brighter, but it's not like super bright. And then we've got the more muted dark red, which I love. And there's a sepia toned brown, and then there's more of this chocolate toned brown, I guess. So you can see the difference between them. I hope you can. I know my lighting is not particularly wonderful at the moment. It seems to be very dark. Then we've got a number of greens. So we have this bright green. We have a more sagey green. And there is another green in there, I think, as well. Then we've got a couple of different yellows. So a lighter yellow and then a more golden yellow. Sorry, try and make sure I show you them. So in this kit, there are a total of 33 pages. Then we've got the writing pages. So that's all the colours, the full page pattern. And then we've got the matching writing papers. I thought there was another green, but no, there's only 2 greens, which is fine because I'm getting confused between the 2 kits because I've been handling them all morning. And so that's just the same pages, just with those writing space. And then the 33rd page in the set is this collage version of all the Plaid patterns, which I thought were just something fun, just a little different, a little fun. And of course I've reduced the size of the pages to fit in these rectangles, so the Plaid is a lot smaller, a lot finer on this page. So just something fun. So I thought I'd like to do a project with these papers today, and I might use the ones that I've got multiple copies of. I might not stick to that, but these are all the excess pages that printed out. Like, look how many there are. And then there's these ones that where it just printed like a half of, or less even than a half, or sometimes slightly more than a half. Like, I don't know what my printer was up to. Technology, maybe it was having a sulk because I went away for so long. It was a weekend. Like, what's the big deal, printer? Okay, so the project I want to do is a springboard of a recent Roxy's Weekly Challenge. So perhaps I'll start by making what Rachel made in her video, and then I want to springboard it to an idea I've had based on her idea. So let's grab out a paper to start with. let's go a nice bold green. See, and I've got multiple of this one printed so many times. Ridiculous. Okay. So I had a wonderful time away, even though I was not 100%, and I think being away probably freshened up my cold. Perhaps made it a little more prolonged than it would have otherwise been, because I'm still not clear of it, but I'm, you know, there's not many signs of it. It's just a bit of croakiness, a bit of coughing, and every now and then my nose decides to run away with itself. So I'm not bad. So it's taking a digital, and I'm going to trim the top and bottom once I've done this, and then fold it in half. Need to fold it towards me so I can see what I'm doing. Really simple idea from Rachel. So if you prefer the simpler version that I'm doing right now, that is perfectly fine. That's why I thought I'd show you this to start with, so then you can see where my mind kind of took the idea. And then fold it in half again sideways. Give it a bit of a press, I think. Give it a nice crease there. Okay, now I am going to just trim the white off once I've got this part done, because it fits in my guillotine now, so we'll do this now. I thought it was quicker doing it this way than if I sat there and cut off the white. Yeah, that's just quick and easy. Okay, then we're going to fold it back out, and just on this inside crease we're going to take a little sliver out there just to reduce that bulk. It's just going down either side of the crease. You don't have to take much out. And then just break that off there. And it's a double pocket. Now Rachel punched straight through and did all four together. That's not my preference. I don't like having the thumb notch on both sides, because I find it difficult to then still get things in to the pocket, because you've got to negotiate both sides. Whereas if it's just on one side, let me perhaps demonstrate. So I'm going to just fold it out, fold it together like this, and you could do it on both sides like Rachel did, or you could do it on one side or the other. It doesn't matter, you choose. I'm just folding them together like this so I get it kind of same. Not that it really matters, because they're not going to be seen together. I prefer to have it like this, so when you slide something in, you've got that back piece sticking up to guide it in, whereas if there was that gap then you're trying to navigate these curves and sort of get it in between. I just find it more awkward, so I prefer this. Now I've done that, and I realise I've done it the wrong way round. I actually needed to punch the notch on this side, but that's okay. That's okay. I could just fold it back the other way, even though we've got that white showing. Oh my gosh, my brain, people, my brain. I think my brain's still on holiday. So yes, my notch is on the wrong side. I've created myself a problem, but essentially you get where I'm going. So glue up the sides, and you've got a pocket that then will wrap around a page. So let's take one of these pages, fold it in half like it's a journal page, because that's what it's designed for. Or it could be a really cool piece of stationery. Write a letter to your friend or your pen pal, your favourite relative. Send them some snail mail or in Happy Mail to write your note on. Right, cut it in half. Makes beautiful stationery, I think, and you can add stickers or fussy cats or whatever you like. So that's our page, and this would wrap around our page like so, and the thumb notch should be on this side so that you've got got access to your pocket. Yeah, see, I totally did it the wrong way. Now what I could do to resurrect this is I could make one side a flip out so the pocket's still here on that side, retaining that space, writing space underneath. So, you know, I can still redeem that. But that's the base idea. Hopefully I have not confused you. Because I succeeded in confusing myself, didn't I? The other thing is, because I haven't trimmed the white off this page, I may need to actually trim a little bit off this edge so that it doesn't go right up to the spine. So I probably would trim that down a little bit. And this one, to be honest, I'll probably just use it for collage because I've mucked it up. That's okay. We're amongst friends here. We don't mind if we go a little astray. Right, now let's grab out another page. Let's go this pretty blushy pink colour. And let's have a look at my springboard idea, which I haven't done a prototype of. So bear with me as I'm doing this a lot lately, aren't I? Working it out in front of you. I can visualize it, but I've just got to try and now bring my vision to life. So starting the same way, I'm trimming off the white. Now, instead of folding in half, and this time I want to leave the white on, instead of folding directly in half, I want to fold however much, like you choose. I'm just going to go there. This is my tester, so give that a crease. Now I'm going to fold this white bit under, sorry, flick that out the way so you can actually see, and I'm going to reinforce that top. Now you could just glue on another bit of paper, which is what I thought I was going to do, but you know, I've got that white there, so let's make use of that little extra bit of real estate. And is that straight? Not too bad. It goes a little off at this end. Okay, that's going to do. And because it's such a little fine piece, I'm going to use tacky glue instead of glue stick, because I think I get glue stick everywhere I don't need it. So I had a wonderful time at the family dinner on Friday night. So we spent all day Friday travelling, basically. We stayed the night, Thursday night at my mum's, so that we cut down the travel a little bit. Otherwise we would have had to travel into the city, pick them up, then travel all the way out, then travel to our destination. So staying the night at mum's meant we were just travelling from their place instead of that double whammy. So that was nice, and it was hubby's birthday on Thursday, so my mum cooked a lovely venison bowler roast, and it was super yum. Right, so this top part, I am now folding down so that it just comes in under the bottom piece. So it doesn't have to be very deep. So that this bottom piece hides that flap. Okay, and I'm just going to use my glue, wet glue again, just for simplicity. But normally I would use probably glue stick for this part. So, and it was wet on Friday, the day we were travelling. It wasn't wet when we left, but we'd gone, I guess, about an hour into the travel when we struck the rain, and then it rained the rest of the time, including some very, very wet, heavy rain, where I was standing out in it, which is not ideal when you've got a cold. I didn't have much option though. I was helping my stepfather into the car and out on the traffic side, and yeah, I was doing it for him, so not conscious about my own health, but probably not the wisest. Okay, so there we have this edge. I want to fold it in half. This time I'm going to have that pocket side on the outside. So we've got an extra few layers there because we've folded it down. So give it a nice good press. I do want to trim off some off the edge because I do think it's going to be too long once again. Yep, we'll just take a snippet off. Don't have to take much off. Just give us a little bit of room to move. Ooh. Gosh, didn't like going through those multiple layers there. Sorry if that was a big loud noise. Okay, again, we're going to take that center piece out. So next time when I do that, I might use scissors rather than my guillotine to cut through that thick part. So we've got the pocket on the outside, so I'm going to just unfold it for a moment, put those two together and do our thumb notch. If you don't want a thumb notch, don't do a thumb notch. Up to you, you don't have to. I do think it adds a little something to the pocket though, as well as being practical purpose, it also adds a little detail, a little something. Okay. And now I want to ink that top edge. Put my tools away just while I'm not using them. My poor ink hasn't been used for ages either. It's like you abandoned me. No, I didn't. I just went on holiday. You're quite fine, ink and scissors and glue and everything else. You're fine. Just a temporary little absence. Oh, one thing I can see I haven't folded it straight, is I do have a little bit of white showing. So I'm just going to give it a little ink there to dull it down. And then we'll put a little bit over here, even though it's not white showing, just to make it kind of match. Okay. So then that will go around the page, like so. I'm really annoyed I didn't, something's not straight somewhere, but that's okay. So glue up the side here, or in fact in the middle as well, because we've made that cut. So glue on the short side is a good idea. Either side of that center line, because we've got that gap. And then this side. And glue it together, so we have two pockets. Now I do think I want to actually attach this to a page. I think would be good. Have I got another page that I want to glue it on? Let's grab out another one of these, maybe a mottled page. I don't have any extras of a mottled page, but that's fine. What do we want to put that on? I don't want to go matchy matchy. I don't want to put it on. Now I haven't double-sided these, so that's okay. I'm going to go with this brown one, Cocoa Dust. Preferably I would have double-sided the page, but you know, I haven't, so I'll just stencil it or do something else with it. I think the blush and the brown work really nicely together. They're a nice colour combination. Because I don't know what journal I would put this in, but it's just going to be in my stash as a pre-made piece. So yeah, we left my mum's place at just a few minutes after 10. We were aiming to get away by 10 and we were doing pretty well. And we got to our destination at, was it 4 p.m. or 5 p.m? 4 p.m. I think. I can't actually remember, it might have been 5. So we took our time, we had several stops, but it was a long journey. And get this, I drove the entire way. The longest drive I have done since 1998. Yep, I was so proud of myself. I was really relaxed. It was fun despite the rain, despite a couple of patches of almost no visibility because of the rain, heaviness of the rain, the wet roads, the fact that we had 4 adults in the car plus luggage, so it was a bit slower on the uptake, a bit heavier than what I'm used to when you've got extra people and luggage. I drove the whole way. I wasn't going to. Hubby did not expect me to, but I did. Right, let's glue this on. So my idea for this is that one side becomes a double pocket, so you could actually put an extra, actually I might do that, an extra thumb notch in the top. So before you glue it down, let's do, I'm just lining up with the other thumb notch. Not going to be exact, but it'll be close enough. And let's ink that. So it will be a double pocket on this side, and I might even do that on the white side. Put this double pocket on the white side. I think would make sense. Glad I thought about that. So we'll put it on this like this. So the white side will be half covered by the double pocket, and then it will have decorative things, you know, tags, journal cards, whatever. So we're going to glue that down. And a fun double pocket. And I will decorate this up as well. Will I do that now? I guess so. You'd probably like to see it decorated. I would if I was you. Like to see it decorated. Not just the plain ordinary paper. Got glue on myself. And I've just left a little gap at the bottom. Okay, so that's that side. And then on this side, we've just got the single pocket, but we don't want to take away all the writing space that's underneath it. So this is going to flip out. Now we've got that white in the middle, so we're just going to take the ink and just tone that down a little bit so it's not so bright and obvious. And then this is perfectly writable. You can write on that. Now if you had one of the darker colors like the perhaps the dark brown that you wanted to do this style of pocket with, I can't just grab it out quickly, then you could take a section of the matching writing paper and cut out a piece and stick that on, so you've still got writing space, or you could use coffee dyed paper, whatever. but I think partnering it with the writing pages that are part of the kit is like ideal. It matches. You could choose to go a different color and not completely color match it, like you could go with the darker brown on the pocket and then the sepia brown version as the writing space. Like, there's lots of options, my friends. Or you could go the brown and bright yellow for the writing space. I love options. I'm really excited about these kits. I think they're going to be really useful, and I do aim to bring a number of projects using these kits to give you some ideas, because they're not your typical junk journaling kit, are they? I will freely admit that. You know, they're not full of flowers and fairies and butterflies, and you know, these are base pages that you can take in any direction. That was my purpose. That was my intention. Right, enough jibber jabber. So this is a flip out writing space. Decorate up this side, and then we've got the double pocket here. So let's start with the double pocket with decorating. And you know, I like my either text or music. Technically you would do this before you glue it onto the page, but you know, there's no rules here. You can do it back to front like I am. We can be the back to front club. I might actually put that right in the middle. So we had a family dinner to go out to that night on Friday night, and so we went out for dinner. I kind of regretted what I chose for my dinner. It was an American themed menu, and I chose chicken and waffles because I've never had that before. So I thought, well, I'll choose that. And the sauce on it was way too intense, way too sweet. Like it was, and of course it was sitting all on the plate, and the waffles just soaked it up, and you couldn't escape the intensity of the sweetness. It was too much, like way too much. But I ate it, and it also came with no veggies, nothing to offset that intensity, nothing at all. Like, it was just the chicken patties, which were really yummy. The chicken was beautiful, and the waffles were nice. It was just the sauce that was the problem. So there was nothing but chicken and waffles, literally, and the sauce, and some crumbled bacon, which was drenched in syrup. Yeah, wouldn't go there again. If you're a fan, sorry, I'm not. Right, so I think I'll just use scraps to decorate, and then some sort of focal. I want to keep it reasonably flat because we do have writing space. Like this you can flip out to write on, but this is writing space, so I don't want to make it too super bulky. I've got some wee snippets of scrapbook paper. That's actually not too bad. I do like to combine torn and straight sometimes. So I'm thinking doing a straight strip. You might even line it up there, whatever that is, 1/4 of an inch maybe, or somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2. It is what it is. It's as wide as it is. Yeah, I like that. Okay, glue that on. So I'm totally winging the decoration. As you can tell, I'm just choosing a bit, popping it down. I'm not composing it ahead of time. I'm living dangerously. Right, that, and then I think maybe just a focal. Oh, if I can get the container out, it didn't want to come out. So these flowers are from Artsology. Now I heard from Gail just recently that Deb from Artsology is no longer selling on Etsy, and I got these on Etsy ages ago. Actually that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Let's go with that one. So I think she's got her own website, I believe. So if you're interested in these flowers, then do a Google search for Artsology, and because I don't know what her website is. I'm sure you'll find it. She's got a lot of digital, so sure it can't be too hard to find online. Yeah, I had no idea that she'd left Etsy. So I don't know when that happened. It was certainly news to me. Maybe it's a recent thing. Maybe I'm not that far behind. So the cool thing about dinner on Friday night is my cousin was over from England. So because we're away for my uncle's 80th, and it's his son. He's got a son and a daughter. The daughter's in Australia. She didn't come. But his son, who lives in England, came. And I was sitting beside him. And we basically, almost the whole evening, talked, the two of us, catching up. And it was wonderful. It was so good to have a really good one-on-one time with him, and we just kind of ignored everybody else. You know, at times we'd speak to somebody else, but we just nattered all night. We had such a good catch up. He's a little bit, just a fraction younger than I am. Yeah, it was so good. It was awesome, my friends. Awesome. Do I need to add anything else? I'm thinking a little bit of stamping, actually. Some sort of texture stamp. Maybe something on there. And then we, Saturday we went, hubby and I had the afternoon out. We took ourselves out country, went to a beach, maybe this one, and just, you know, it was nice to get out, see the nature. It was a beautiful day. And then we had the party on Saturday night, and there was about 60 people, a lot of family, but there were also a lot of his friends there. And it was just a jolly good time. Do I want to go with, oh, that might be a bit bright. Do I go with maybe black cherry? I'm thinking something other than black. Let's go black cherry. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we shall find out. So this is stays on. Yep. Get the little plasticky bit there, and I need to grab out a wet wipe as well, don't I? Do that in a moment. I did not plan on doing a bit of stamping. I just felt like adding a little something. Oh, I like that. And then I'm going to turn it around the other way. So I'm mixing pink and red, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's what it needed. I'm really happy with that. Now, because it stays on, I am going to take time to clean off my stamp. Just grab out a new wet wipe. Oops, get back in there. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm still just a wee bit froggy. Although, to be fair, I'm quite often froggy, aren't I? Mr. Froggy comes to visit a lot. That I am calling done. It's a little different for me with that stamping, but I love it. That's cool. Okay, now this side, I'm going to actually just flip it out here. I do need to ink around it, I think. Also wondering about rounding those corners, or rounding the top one anyway. Let's round the top one. The bottom one might be a bit funky because it's a pocket, so we'll just do that corner. Should have done this before I glued it on, but you know, best laid plans. Would be great if I actually had a plan. Yeah, that's okay. You guys know me now. I fly by the seat of my pants on a semi-regular basis. There, and the other side. Just giving it that little definition. That little bit sticking up there. Yeah, way easier if you do it before you glue it down, guys. Little tip for you. And then Sunday we drove home. So we called in to see my uncle and the family that were there, because it's the thing, we always go to his place when we've been over the coast for an event, be it a funeral or a reunion or whatever. Everybody always goes to his place and says goodbye. So often it's another mini family gathering. And that's exactly what it was. So we went there before we left, and we left that town at 11 a.m. Had lunch at the next town at 12, or about 12:20, I think. And then we got back home here after dropping Mum off at 7 p.m. It was a long day. And not without drama. It was a beautiful travelling day. It was sunny. It was lovely. Absolutely stunning. Right, let's put a little bit of music on here. I think I want something wider, because we weren't that far from home on the way. Like, we had to pass home to go through to drop my mum off, mum and stepdad. We were maybe like 15-20 minutes away from home, and we got a stone chip in the windscreen. Quite a decent one. And I had been going to drop hubby off at home. Oh, that's a cool piece there. Won't throw that out. So he could rest up because he had work the next day. But because of the stone chip, we both ended up going through into Christchurch and dropping off my mum. Just in case anything happened with the windscreen, because it was quite a decent chip and it looked quite concave. I wanted to touch it, but hubby was like, don't touch it. And fortunately that was fixed yesterday, so it's all fine now. It's been filled. But yeah, it was very unfortunate. So it was a long day, but a good day. And we dropped them off, and then about 15 minutes away from home, on the way home, we picked up some fish and chips, because neither of us felt like cooking. We didn't have anything to, cook. We had nothing to make a sandwich with or anything, so we just picked up fish and chips and had that for dinner. By the time we got it, it was probably about 7:15, maybe a bit later, by the time, unload the car, put things away, light the fire, that sort of jazz. Right, where's my scrap? There it is, buried it. This time let's go torn, and I want it to have a white edge. This way, so I'm tearing it so that I get that white edge. Probably a little bit much white edge in some places. So it was a good trip, apart from the stone chip. Could have done without that, but I mean, considering how far we'd travelled 800 k's in total, or roughly. And hubby thinks I drove about 600 k's out of that. I started driving home on the way home and very quickly realised my headspace wasn't right for it. I was tense, and I was overthinking. Like, I was like, oh, there's a road, I don't know which way the road goes, I can't see where the road, and I was starting to stress about it, and it was like, nah, I'm not in the right headspace to do this. So I stopped. Actually, I want to give it white on the ends as well. So I stopped and we switched drivers, and then I picked up driving again. Where did I pick up from? So he drove through the two passes, Lewis Pass and the Rahu Saddle. So Lewis Pass is on our side of the mountain range, and Lewis Pass, so Rahu Saddle is on the other side of the mountain range. Essentially, that's, yeah, I like that. I'm just going to tacky glue this on. So he drove through to both of those, and then the constant braking and accelerating gets his, he starts to really cramp up in the legs. So I took back driving at that point when I was feeling a lot better, and then I drove all the way through to Christchurch, and then hubby drove out from Christchurch back home. So yeah, it was a good trip apart from the stone chip. And we saw lots of accidents on the way. There was one on the way to Waikari, which is where his parents live, and then there was 4 on the road over to the coast. Just awful. And some looked quite significant. Like, they weren't fresh accidents, they were just vehicles that had been totaled and left there for whatever reason until they could be picked up, or insurance had dealt with it or whatever. Okay, let's pick out another flower. I'm really taking my time, aren't I, guys? We want a yellow flower. It'd be something a little different, wouldn't it? I'm looking for something that will fit, because it's a lot of these flowers are too tall. Oh, what about a basket of pansies? I'm just thinking something off to the side this time. I feel like it doesn't stand out enough. What about one of these stamped flowers? I've got roses and sunflowers. They're a bit bright, aren't they? Yep. No, they don't work for me either. What about that? It's just a flower head that's been cut off from the rest of its. I know, this and a label. So let's go to the Junk Journal Studio. Labels from Days Gone By Volume 2. Something like that. And then on, what day was it? Was it Monday? Or Tuesday? No, it was Monday. Monday, hubby went out to go to work, first day back at work. And he's like, oh, that back tire's looking a bit flat. So he grabbed out our pump and went out and found out it had 9 units of pressure in it, which is very low. I think it takes about 30 something. And he found there was a screw in the tire. No, it must have been Tuesday. No, it had to be Monday. I don't know. Whatever day. Doesn't matter, does it? Whatever day. So he was slightly late to work because he had to go get that fixed. So that was, that's okay. It's just, something you have to do. Can't drive on a flat tire, can you? So got that done. And then Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't know, again, doesn't matter, the next day, he had a call from his dad while he was at work. No, it was the same day as the flat tire, so it must have been Tuesday, for the tire and for this. So he got the tire fixed, got to work. He'd been at work for an hour and a half-ish, and his mum wasn't doing so well, my husband's mum, so my mother-in-law wasn't doing well, and my father-in-law was stressing and not very happy. So hubby left work, picked me up on the way through, and we went up to them and waited with them all day for the medical people to get organised to admit her to hospital. And we dropped her off to hospital at just after 5 p.m. So we were up there most of the day. She's in a lot of pain. She feels like the cancer's growing. She can feel it. She's coughing again, which is a bad sign that the growth is pressing on her trachea again. She's in a lot of pain. She's not sleeping. She's not hardly eating. So yeah, so that's also a little stressful at the moment because things are developing. Not good news, but we're hoping she'll rally a bit in hospital and, you know, have another period of being good. But I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. So we just got to take it. So she's been in hospital 2 nights. The first night she hardly slept. She was in so much pain and there was a lot of noise. I haven't yet found out how she's done last night, so I hope she had a better night. We've been praying. So I spent 3 hours last night up because I couldn't stop thinking about her, praying about her, worrying about her, you know, the drill. So I'm short on sleep today, which is probably why I'm just really mucking around here. Okie dokie. Let's use a different stamp to finish this off and then I'll let you guys go. Hopefully I haven't been too long. No, we definitely need to wrap up though. But that's basically the lowdown on what I've been up to recently, between being sick, travelling away, and then my mother-in-law. I just have not been around. And I may not be around again depending how things track with his mum. You know, if she continues to go downhill, then we might be facing the next phase, possibly. Just don't know. And I think a third one. Where? Weird. I want a third bum, but where? Maybe over here. Yeah, cool. Just finished it off, I think. Happy with that. Right, give this a little wipe since it stays on. I know it won't completely come off, but it just, you know, I feel better. I feel better if I give it a wee clean. Okay, guys, well, we're going to leave it there. So I got one done. You know, no master strokes there, but this is my springboard idea based on Rachel's idea, and this is Rachel's idea, which I completely flubbed. That's okay too, you know, maybe I'll just turn it this way, and yeah, no big drama really. So from this to this, where we've got an extra writing space flip out, and we've got the double pocket on this side. I think it's cool, and I wanted this to fold down so that we've got that pattern in behind, so it's not white, you know, so we haven't got the white, but then I misjudged it. So anyway, take care, my friends. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back when I can. Please bear with me if there's gaps, if it's really inconsistent. I'm going to try my best, but I just can't, I honestly can't guarantee anything at the moment. Patreon had 3 videos this week. So I'm really trying to keep up with Patreon content. It's 1 video a week normally, but I had to catch up from missed week, plus an extra bonus. So yeah, thanks for being with me. I appreciate your support and you just hanging on with me, and I'll do my best to pop in whenever I can. And I will do collage stories this week because I don't want to fall behind in that, or the Deal It Up challenge on Monday. Really want to get on top of those. So I'll see you then. Bye for now. Bye.